what struck me in bringing together this program was that actually it's written within about 40-year period. It starts with the Bach in 1730, going to the Handel 20 years later, then going through to the Haydn 1771, and then finally the early Mozart, which was 1773. Just realizing that, the Bach is heard in Leipzig, the Handel is heard in London, the Mozart is heard in Milan, and finally the Haydn in Esterhazy. And if there ever was, a program that's showing what is happening in microcosm, if you like, in a shortish period of time in Europe, this program really does it. We naturally put into a more genteel era, I think, because a lot of this music is sacred, textual, very thoughtful arias in opera and oratorio. But it's interesting, isn't it, to really see that there's a relationship here with the king, probably no more so, though, than with Handel, German, of course, but in London, writing coronation anthems, writing Zadok the priest for the coronation of the king, and then writing music by royal command, by royal commission, which this fireworks music was, to enhance the feeling of good in the country, I suppose, the feeling of the importance of the king, the feeling of, I guess, being this time being English. The Mozart was a piece that I conducted as a young student, and I'm struck how, with that particular piece, it's as extrovert, as complicated to perform in terms of the soprano line as the Bach, and yet Mozart can have been a little more than about 17 or something when he wrote it. Seems remarkably engaged and developed in its formal structures, the different movements with a little recitative, a slower andante, a fast Alleluia Allegro, and also quite clever how that last famous bit, Alleluia, that people know, how it links completely seamlessly from the previous movement. That's quite an unusual thing at that time. I mean, Beethoven was to do that in years later, but the idea of almost like a through composed set of movements was quite new and quite revolutionary. Things happen in music that do things to us as human beings. We hear things which change our mood, and I think what's so interesting is for the musician to understand what it is that might be happening scientifically, if you like, in inverted commas, and how we know what is going on because there's this extraordinary contrast between this key and this moment, etc. But I'm convinced that the human race per se also hears these things, but they don't name them. So I think it's possible to receive the music, if you like, without any sense of education about how it was conceived, or how we as the human race have put a construct on the music, that this is how it's written, notated, these are the keys, these are blah 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 blah. So how good it is, and thank goodness it is possible, that people can come to a concert without having to have that knowledge. It's wonderful that it's for everybody,